Morning, Saturday morning. I hear these chimes, and I'm not sure if it's wind chimes because it's breezy out there, or if it's my son's alarm going. Either way, it's pleasant. And now the church bells are going off too. So today it's at 1 minute past. But I don't know what time they actually think it is today. We'll see. Maybe we'll count. We'll count the chimes. So just sit and breathe for a few minutes while we get going here. Mm, who knows? Now they stopped. It's a mystery every time what's going on. So just breathing and relaxing. We're back to cold weather again, ish, for a little while. It's supposed to be in the 70s, I think, next week, so it won't be. Uh, it won't be too cold. Although I did move plants. I think I forgot a couple plants though. I hope they're all right. I think they were on the back porch. They're probably all right. We'll see. All right. Well, maybe we'll sort of get started here. So today I wanted to say a couple of things about this idea of oneness, that we are all one. I just read a little article about healthcare actually, and it was kind of interesting from looking at healthcare from a yogic perspective. The idea being that it's something that um, shouldn't be unavailable to some and plentiful for others, right? So in yoga we talk about this idea of um, everything being one and also taking as much as you need, right? So having um, enough to go around for everyone. Um, not whenever I think of that, I think about like when if you brought gum to school and the teacher would make you put it away if you didn't have enough for everybody. So it's not quite that same thing. But the idea being that if we're all one, no one is more entitled than anyone else, right? Um, there may be things that you can acquire by working hard, by being intelligent or well educated. Um, there certainly isn't perhaps an equality of outcome because people are going to achieve different things in their life. But there needs to be an equality of beginning, right? Where do we all begin? Um, How can we expect some people to not be able to go to the doctor or not be able to afford their medicine? Have to choose between food and medicine, where others barely give it a thought. Um, that is not an ethical situation, right? Um, ethically, if we care about people, if we care about um, lives, right? If lives really matter, every life matters, then everyone should be able to survive, right? Um, why do we pay people at a rate in which they can't survive? They need government assistance to just live, to find a place to live and to afford food. That's not an ethical situation, right? We are valuing humans less um, because of some perception about them, right? We are all one. If we are all one, then we all need to start at the same place, which means if you're working, you should be able to live. Um, and if you're not working, right, you should also be able to live. uh, we might not want to keep that up forever, but there have to be ways in which these things are taken care of, because we are all one. Right? And even if you don't um, believe that in a kindness sense, right? In yoga, we would extend that kindness and consideration for others. But even if you can't manage that, if you can't generate that feeling, know that we all live in this society together, right? Um, those people that aren't able to live properly, that aren't getting enough to eat, those people are raising families. Those people have children. Those people may be the people that you depend on in your old age. Don't you want them to be well educated, to be fed, right? We all exist together here in this society, and we need to take care of one another because, it's the right thing to do, but also it's the right thing to do for you. Um, so these may make perfect sense to us, as yogis, right? Um, in the abstract, it's kind of an abstract belief, and we can kind of hope that we can work towards that. Um, and that might not be hard for you to grasp at all, right? It's pretty makes sense, right? Kind of makes sense. I would ask you then to go one step further, right? How do you do that in your own life, right? Um, can you accept the value and the consideration for people that you perhaps don't like, that you don't agree with, that you think they're wrong, they're on the wrong path? We are all here together. Not all of us are working in the same direction, right? Some people you may see are working, they look like they're working the wrong thing, they're going down the wrong path, right? We want to extend those people the same appreciation and consideration. Um, we are all one, right? Not all of us, just as we look at ourselves and we see the light parts and the dark parts, we're going to see that in our world. Um, we are going to see those ugly parts of ourselves reflected in the activities of others. Um, what do we do about that, right? What do we do? Well, we accept it, first of all, right? We don't believe that there's something alien about those people or something different. We recognize that they are simply the dark side of us, perhaps. Um, they are something gone awry. Um, and we can hope and pray for people like that, that they can change, they can see the truth that we are all one, right? Because when we are solid in that truth, there is no room for discrimination, sexism, racism, hatred of any sort, any kind of differentiation between people. It just can't exist, right? So we're going to work for that with ourselves, um, with the people that we come in contact with. We can be an example, um, and we can do what we can within our own scope, um, within our own range. Now, I'm not going to tell you to run out and change the world, right? I mean, if you want to, by all means, get out there. But not all of us are called to do that. Not all of us are comfortable with that level of participation. Um, but we can all be an example for our own family and friends, for ourselves. Um, Really, how you live your life is the most important thing of all. Um, so, we are all one. Know that, live that, and work towards a time where our society can reflect that as well. Um, it can be very discouraging, and I think um, in recent years we've seen some real clashes between different schools of thought in our country. Um, I think in general, we're moving in the right direction. I think we're kicking up a lot of dust, which is what happens when things are changing. Um, I think we're pulling up the rug to see some of the mess that's always been under there that we just pretended wasn't happening. So, with that daylight, I hope comes some change. We can sweep out the dirt under the rug and start clean. So, yoga is the yoga philosophy is it's amazing to me because it's thousands of years old, but it's so contemporary. It's so applicable to everything. And what we're working towards, right, is thousands of years old. This belief. In yoga, they say that when all of this was formed thousands of years ago, it was a different time. And they did have some societies that reflected this, right? The society was governed under this. And then came the darker times. What they call now, what we live in is the Kali Yuga, which is the black, the dark time. Um, and we're going to be in this for a bit, a bit more, maybe another 1,000 years or so. So we're working our way back up. Um, we can work that. We can, encourage that along with our actions. But don't be discouraged. It's not that we've done something wrong. This is just how we're working through this process. So um, it's not meant to be easy. Um, it's a struggle, and we're here struggling as always. All right, so some yoga, some asana yoga. Sitting up tall. As the weather gets colder, you may find, you need a little more warm up to get moving. That's good. That's fine. Just take your time. If you're not ready to move in to some of the poses, just take your time with it. Deep breath in, chin down toward the chest. And then we're moving the head around. Big circle. and then reverse it. And back to center. Lean forward, move around. One way and the other. And then back to your seat. Arms wide. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands together. Inhale wide. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands. We're gazing up. And then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up. And then right hand by your side, reach across with the left. And switch sides. Coming back up. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind, sit up tall. Take a twist. Back to center, switch sides. And back to center. Walk the hands out in front of you. And then set them behind a little ways. Squeeze the shoulders back, gaze up. And then back to your seat. Tabletop. Sitting back on the heels. Child's pose. Come on back up. Couple sets of cat-cow. Just to loosen up. A little inhales and exhales. And back to neutral. Let's come back into child's pose. Stack the fists, rest the forehead down.
And then make your way back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Step the feet up. Be in a fold. Moving up to stand. Breath in and breath out. Maybe lift the shoulders, roll them back. That did not feel great. Actually, it did feel good. Something moved around in there a little bit. Breath in and out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, we're going to step back, downward dog. Inhale, forward to high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. Lower. Once more, lifting up head and chest. And lower. Make your way back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Take one more breath and then walk the feet up to the hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift high. And back to mountain. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we're stepping back to downward dog. Inhale, move forward to high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. and lower. Once more, lifting up head and chest. And lower down. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. And walk the feet up to the hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, arms high. And back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Let's step to the side. So facing the side of the mat, gut legs wide, and let's just bring the arms out to a T. Bring the arms up overhead, maybe gaze up. And then arms back to a T. Hands to the waist. Breath in here and then lean forward. Folding, hinging really at the hips. Letting the rest of the body come forward. Hands back to the waist. Rising up, use that strength in the legs to help you along here. Breath in and breath out. We're going to turn here. So we're facing front of the mat again. Well, end of the mat, I guess. Either end. Doesn't matter which. Right leg is out, left leg behind. Interlace the fingers. Draw the shoulders together. Deep breath. Fold forward. And then rising back up. Breath in. Back foot steps up to the front. Arms overhead. And we're back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Stepping back to face the side of the mat again. This time, let's bring the hands at the waist or hips, and then we're sliding the hands back. So we're squeezing the elbows together as much as possible. Take a deep breath and lean forward. Rising back up. Hands back. I don't feel like I could go back as far today as some days. That's how it is though, right? Sometimes you're like, hey, this is great. Other days you're like, this is the worst, but we still do it. We just do it a little less maybe. And then we're turning. So left leg is out. Interlace the fingers. Deep breath. Fold forward. And then rising up. Step the back foot up, arms overhead. And back. Hands by your side. Breath in and out. Let's work on some balance. Tree, standing on your left foot, bringing that right foot in wherever you want it to be. The knee is rotated out to the side, standing up nice and tall. Find that steadiness. You can extend the arms if you want. And then bring both feet down, switch sides. And set the foot down, bicycle legs. So we're going to do kind of another thing kind of like that. We're going to see how this goes. So we're lifting up, well, let's switch. Lifting up the right knee. So we're standing on the left foot to start. And then maybe we're going to grab a hold of the foot. So you've got right foot in left hand. So you could be like this. If you can't, if that's really not working for you, you can just stay with the knee lifted. You might be able to bring that foot in, rest it on the leg. I'm having a hard time with this today. But you get the idea, right? So if you can do that and we lift the right hand then, maybe. So some version of this, right? Wherever you are with that is good. And then we're going to switch. Lifting up the knee. You might stay here. You might take a hold of the foot. I gotta stop watching myself on the camera. This is throwing me off. I'm like, hey, look at that foot. So you might have the foot here. You might bring it in, lifting up the left arm. Breathe. And then release it down, bicycle legs. And come on back, top of the mat. Arms overhead, maybe lean back a little. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back. Downward dog. Forward to high plank. And lower. Head turns right, Arms by your side. Bring your head back to center. And we're going to have the hands by your side, but rest the palms on the mat. Tops of the feet resting. And then we're lifting up, head and chest. Lift the arms, lift the legs. Lower down, head turns to the left. Head back to center. And we're going to be in position for Sphinx. So propping up on the forearms, elbows right underneath the shoulders, feet maybe a little wider on the mat. And then we're pressing down with the hands and forearms, pulling back with the shoulders. Breathe. And then lower down. Let's bring one hand on top of the other. You can rest the chin or the forehead. And the hands, take a few breaths. And then moving back up. Tabletop, then child's pose. Back up, tabletop to downward dog. And then step your feet up and come on down to a seat. I'm gonna get a block. I moved the block that was here. So I haven't had one for a bit, but now I want to have one. Soles of the feet together, sitting up tall, and then folding forward. Come on back up. And let's bring the left leg under, the knees pointing forward, and then cross that right leg over top. As much as is possible today. Bring one hand on either foot. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. And then back up. Switch your sides. So right leg is under, left leg on top. Sitting up tall and fold. And then back up. Both legs out in front. Deep breath in, arms overhead. Fold on the exhale. Moving back up, let's bend the right knee, hug it in. And then lowering the knee out to the side. We've got that right foot up by the thigh. Deep breath in, and then we're folding forward, reaching down with the left foot. up. Let's switch legs. We're hugging that left leg in, and then lower the knee out. Sitting up tall, deep breath in, and then fold forward. Back up, both legs out in front. Deep breath in, fold forward. Back up. Bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. You've got your block, bring it near, and then just gonna end up on your back. Take a few breaths. Make sure everything feels comfortable here. And then we're going to bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. Stay there or draw the left thigh in towards the chest. And set the foot down, switch. So left leg, left foot is on the knee, and then right leg comes in. Maybe if you have that flexibility today. Set both feet down. And we're going to support a bridge. Right? If you want to do regular bridge, you can. But I'm going to do supported bridge. So feet are back, close to the body, knees about hip width apart, feet about hip width apart. And then find a place for the block. And see if you can just relax here. And let everything kind of ease out. And you can stay here, or you could bring the knees in or extend the legs if you're feeling like you want to do a little more. Some people like to extend the legs here too. You can play around with that, see how it feels. Lots of options. And lifting back up, let's bring soles of the feet together, knees apart, relax and breathe. Maybe bring the arms up over the head. And then you could do goalpost arms or arms out to a T. You're going to bring the knees together, walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat. When you're ready, lowering both knees over to the right. Back to center and moving knees to the left. And back to center, and then I'm just going to move into Shavasana. So you could extend the legs, or you could extend them up and lower them down. Your choice. Just ending up, laying on the mat, finding a place that's comfortable, steadying your breath, letting everything relax here. So you may notice that yoga, a lot of the beliefs in yoga and a lot of the kind of rules, let's say, so something like ahimsa, nonviolence, a lot of those ideas have been used in a lot of activist groups over the years. Gandhi and the civil rights movement were all sort of heavily influenced by some of these beliefs. But yoga itself is not a political activity or an activist sort of thing. In fact, one of the very
sort of very direct things in the Yoga Sutras is this belief that you're never going to convince somebody who's going down the wrong path to change their ways. They're going to have to learn that themselves. I mean, it literally says experience is the best teacher, right? So when we see people going down that wrong path, working so hard to hate or to undermine other people or to disregard their needs, we can feel compassion for those people because they will reap the harvest of that, and it won't be good. um, Experience will teach them that what they've done is incorrect. Um, so, yoga is focused on our behavior, right? There's, thousands of words about how you should live and how you should be careful of your own actions, and only a small mention about other people's actions, which is basically like, just don't worry about them, worry about you. And I love that because it really puts puts you in the driver's seat, right? You could spend your whole life trying to make other people do something, or you could just do it yourself. You could bring those changes yourself, right? So one of my favorite Gandhi quotes is that be the change that you wish to see in the world. And we think of that kind of metaphorically, but it's meant literally, right? If you change your behavior, you change how you think, how you see things, your world will change because we create our world. Right? It doesn't mean that everything that happens will change. Right? We aren't in control of everything, but how we see things will change. Um, our perspective on what's happening will change. And that's really all we can do. That is um, the way to make sense in a crazy world, right? Um, so it's easy, right? Work on yourself, work on your belief system. Let that be an example to people around you. And let them reap the consequences of their actions. Yoga takes the long view, right? Things may not change this week or next week or even next year. Maybe it'll be a few years, maybe it'll be more, but it's a steady progression, right? We are on the path. We may not be going as fast as we'd like, but we're going as fast as we should be going. So when you're ready, moving fingers and toes, hands and feet, getting yourself back up. Pardon me. To a seated position. We'll bring hands together. Deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time today for yoga and for sharing it with me. I hope you have a great Saturday. And namaste. Thank you. I'm gonna do meditation. So sitting comfortably. I had this set up and now it's gone. So relaxed position, eyes closed, trying to kind of find that space between the thoughts and the images, that quiet. Okay. Coming back. Opening your eyes. We're back in the world. All right. Well, there's some yoga and meditation for your Saturday. I will not be here tomorrow because it's Sunday. So enjoy your day, and I will be back on Monday. Namaste. Have a great weekend.